Long before kingdoms rose and empires fell, when the desert winds still whispered the names of forgotten gods, there was a realm of splendor known as Aaru-Ka, the land of the eternal sun. This vibrant land was ruled by the noble king, Amun-Raen, a guardian of life and balance itself. His very presence brought order to the great rivers, warmth to the sun-kissed crops, and unyielding justice to every soul beneath his benevolent gaze. By his side reigned his queen, Serapis, the goddess of healing moonlight, and the hidden arts of magic. Her touch could soothe the dying, calm the fiercest storms, and fill the dreams of her people with radiant light. Together, they were a perfect harmony, the sun and the moon, life and spirit, a divine balance that sustained the world. But peace, as we know, is a fragile thing. Amun-Raen had a brother, Neb-Sutekh, the god of shadows, suffocating sandstorms, and insatiable ambition. Where Amun-Raen nurtured life, Neb-Sutekh brought drought. Where Serapis healed, he brought only ruin. He watched his brother from the shadows, his heart twisting with envy. He craved the love of the people, the weight of the crown, and the blessings offered in Amun-Raen's name. Neb-Sutekh vowed that he would seize the throne, not to rule with justice, but to bend the entire world beneath the heel of his fury. For years, he wandered the black deserts, learning forbidden spells from tormented spirits and ancient, malevolent entities. His heart grew as hard and cold as obsidian, and his power swelled like a storm gathering on the horizon, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. One fateful night, under a starless sky, Neb-Sutekh returned. He had devised a plan carved from pure darkness. He invited his brother, Amun-Raen, to a grand celebration held in his own honor. The palace of obsidian stone, usually silent and grim, now echoed with joyous music, fragrant incense, and the graceful movements of dancers. The centerpiece of the celebration was a magnificent statue, a sarcophagus forged from pure, shimmering gold, its surface glowing with intricate, sacred symbols. "My beloved brother," Neb-Sutekh announced, his voice smooth as silk, "step inside. Let the people admire how this perfect creation fits our one true king." Trusting and kind-hearted, Amun-Raen saw no deceit in his brother's eyes and agreed. The moment he stepped within the golden shell, Neb-Sutekh slammed the heavy lid shut. Chains of pure shadow, forged from magic older than the desert itself, instantly wrapped around the coffin, sealing it tight. With a deafening roar of triumph, Neb-Sutekh lifted the sarcophagus and cast it into the abyssal well-accursed place where the sands devoured everything they touched, leaving no trace behind. Instantly, the kingdom fell into darkness. The great rivers ran dry. The vibrant green crops rotted in the fields. The skies, once a brilliant blue, turned a hellish, blood-red. The people cried out for their king, their voices lost in the howling winds, but he never returned. Serapis, her heart shattered but her spirit unbroken, refused to surrender to despair. She embarked on a desperate journey across the blighted lands of Aaru-Ka to find her husband. Guided by the pale light of the moon and visions that haunted her sleep, she walked across deserts so treacherous that even spirits feared to wander there. She sought out ancient guardians, bargained with forgotten gods slumbering beneath the earth, and followed faint whispers of magic until, at last, she found the abyssal well. There, hidden deep beneath layers of cursed, swirling sand, she discovered the golden coffin. Using her most sacred and powerful spells, she managed to break the shadowy chains, freeing Amun-Raen's spirit for a brief, fleeting moment. In that magical instant, their hearts were united, and from this divine, sorrowful union, a child was conceived, Ka-Horusar, a son destined to restore the broken balance of the world. But Neb-Sutekh, watching from his stolen throne, became enraged that Serapis had partially undone his dark work. He summoned a colossal vortex of sand and shadow, which tore Amun-Raen's spirit into countless fragments. With a malicious laugh, he scattered these pieces across the vast expanse of Aaru-Ka, ensuring they could never be made whole again. Filled with a grief that burned like fire, Serapis vowed to bring justice to the world and vengeance upon Neb-Sutekh. With the help of the goddess Mara, the unwavering keeper of truth, and the loyal spirit Wilfaniket, her faithful guardian, she began her sacred quest. She searched every corner of the realm, from the highest mountain peaks to the deepest, darkest caves, tirelessly gathering the fragmented pieces of Amun-Raen's soul. When she had found all but one final piece, she performed an ancient moon ritual, using its power to forge a new, sacred body. She preserved Amun-Raen's essence, transforming him into the eternal guardian of the afterworld, a solemn and powerful king of the spirit realm. Meanwhile, Serapis hid her infant son, Ka-Horusar, in the mystical and secluded lotus marshes, raising him under the protection of enchanted creatures and ancient spirits of the wild. She taught him the spells of light, the history of his father's tragic fall, and instilled in him a courage that could not be broken. The boy grew into a mighty warrior as swift as the desert falcon, as wise as the eternal moon, and as fierce as the very storms that once obeyed his father's command. When Ka-Horusar finally came of age, he journeyed to the capital and stood before the divine court of Aaru-Ka, his presence radiating power and purpose. "I claim my father's throne," he declared, his voice ringing with authority. Neb-Sutekh's reign of terror must end. From the throne of shadows, Neb-Sutekh laughed, a sound like tearing sand and breaking stone. "The throne belongs to power," he hissed, "and I am the storm that consumes everything." The heavens themselves trembled as their challenge was accepted. And so began a war that shook the very pillars of creation. Ka-Horusar and Neb-Sutekh battled across skies lit by searing lightning. They fought on sand dunes that rose like mountains and crashed down like tidal waves. They clashed on the banks of the Blood River, where the sheer force of their magic split the waters in two. Neb-Sutekh tried to blind his nephew with suffocating darkness, but Serapis, watching over her son, restored his sight with her pure moonlight. Ka-Horusar, in turn, wounded Neb-Sutekh with the blade of dawn, a sword forged from the very first ray of sunrise. But the war raged on for years, stalemate that bled the world dry. Finally, the gods themselves gathered for a final judgment. Mara, the keeper of truth, brought forth her scales to weigh their hearts. Aaru-Ka, the spirit wolf, stood guard over the path of truth, ensuring no deception could interfere. And Amun-Raen, now the eternal guardian, appeared in a vision of golden mist to witness his son's final stand. The divine council spoke as one, their voice echoing through reality. Ka-Horusar is the rightful ruler. Neb-Sutekh has shattered the sacred laws of balance. Enraged but defeated, Neb-Sutekh was banished to the endless desert, cursed to wander alone in the desolate wastes for all eternity, his power broken. Ka-Horusar ascended the throne, his reign ushering in a new dawn. Under his rule, guided by the wisdom of his mother Serapis and the watchful spirit of his father Amun-Raen, Aaru-Ka was reborn. The rivers flowed once more, the lands turned green, and the sun shone brightly in a clear blue sky. The balance was restored not through vengeance, but through courage, love, and sacrifice. The legend of the Sun King, the Moon Queen, and the Falcon Prince became a story told for generations, a timeless reminder that even in the deepest darkness, the light is never truly lost. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more epic myths and legends. See you next time.